Today on Tamron Hall, an emotional, intimate conversation with Priscilla Presley. She shares her heartbreaking final moments with her daughter, Lisa Marie, and the losses that changed her forever.
Losing Elvis was the hardest. Losing a child is even harder. I wish it on no one.
Then, R&B icon Faith Evans reveals how her son's autism diagnosis reshaped her life and why she's determined to help families everywhere.
It was another parent who became my first advocate, and then I wanted to do the same thing as I've grown and am still learning, and I just wanted to share that with other parents who just don't know where to turn.
Plus, author and actress Timby Lott returns after From Scratch to share her brand new story of love, loss, and resilience. A powerful hour of women reclaiming their voices and rewriting their stories. Tamron Hall starts now.
What a big conversation we have for you today. Happy birthday. I see your birthday crown. Well, we are allowing the women this hour to wear the crowns that they have owned. Few people, though, have lived a life as full and talked about as our first guest, Priscilla Presley, a trailblazing businesswoman, visionary author, and for more than 6 years of her life, she was the wife of Elvis Presley. Her life has inspired headlines, movies, and honestly, endless speculation. But now, in her new memoir, Softly As I Leave You, Life After Elvis, Priscilla Presley is setting the record straight about who she became beyond the gates of Graceland. Take a look.
Elvis Presley weds Priscilla Ann Boldo, and one of America's richest teenage singing idols promises to love, honor, and obey.
And with the simple words, I do, Priscilla Presley's life would change forever. And now she's holding nothing back in her new headline-making tell-all.
Elvis was a Southern man who expected his woman to be pretty, submissive, and charming, 24 hours a day.
Written 40 years after her 1985 book, Elvis and Me, Softly As I Leave You, gives the intimate details of her family's life after Elvis.
When I left the marriage, I had left the crushing burden of fear and jealousy behind.
From her staggering success as a businesswoman and actress to the challenges of finding love after life with a legend.
I knew everything about being with Elvis, but very little about being with other men.
And for the first time ever, Priscilla lays bare the heartbreaks that shaped her, including the 2023 death of her daughter, Lisa Marie.
Every morning, I wake up and realize that a big part of me is gone forever.
But through it all, Priscilla has embodied grace and gratitude, finding hope in what's still to come.
Though I have suffered deep losses, I choose to focus on what remains. I walk forward even when my mind turns toward the past.
Please welcome Priscilla Presley. Welcome to the Tam fam. How are you feeling? It's been whirlwind.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. Don't be nervous. I'll tell you off the record story, but I'm going to tell you in front of the whole audience. only argument I ever had with my father in my whole life, he wouldn't stop at Graceland because we had to make it on time to Philadelphia to drop me off in college. But I was like, I'll call Priscilla. And he said, you don't have her number. But in my head, I felt like you could be reasonable. I should have called you. I got to tell you, I mean it when I said you are one of the most fascinating women, I feel, because of your life. You wrote a lot about the fact that you saw yourself after Elvis passed away as a single parent to Lisa. You never remarried,
No.
but she was this little girl that had a lot of expectations because she was Elvis's only child.
Absolutely. In fact, so much so that she used to boss our help around at Graceland. You know, I don't want this. This is how cute is that?
Yeah.
She would go in the kitchen and she goes, I didn't want that for breakfast. I wanted what my dad's having, you know, and so they have to cook all over again. And then she'd say, it's not good enough. It's not taste like his.
And so early on, did you know you had a
I was
rebel?
in trouble.
You were in trouble. You had your own, you know, your own child, but
Outspoken.
the child is outspoken. Interesting, because you do start the book dedicated to those who have left us. Not only did you lose Lisa Marie, but also your grandson, Benjamin.
That's right.
Why was it so important to start at that painful point?
All of us have been through pain. All of us have lost someone in their lives and more. And I just felt like that they could understand my book. They could understand me better. And I felt that, you know, dedicating it to those who are having it, to those just, it's my way of saying, I understand.
Yeah. You talk about understanding you better. I was surprised how direct you were about the relationship with Elvis. You talked about it in Elvis and Me, and you said that that book covered 14 years of your life. This covers 8 decades of your life, and much of that Elvis was not a part of because he had passed away. But you talk about in the book, when you met Elvis, you were 14 years old. He was 24. You wrote, much has been made of the 10-year age gap between us, but it wasn't unusual in the South. Though Elvis and I started a relationship when I was 14, it didn't become a romantic relationship until I was 17. We waited to have sex until he married me at 21.
That's right.
All these years later.
Honest to God truth.
Honest to God truth.
Yes.
Because you know, for many years when people talk about, you know, power and balance, when people talk about, you know, rock stars or pop stars or R&B stars or younger women, they say, well, Elvis did it and people still love him. But you made it a point of saying
Absolutely.
that was not the case.
It's very important to him. It was being on our wedding night and not before that. And I obviously we kissed, we hugged, we loved and blah, 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 but never had intercourse.
And when you look back at that relationship, there was never a feeling of there was an imbalance or understanding how people view it now? For you?
I never thought about that. I was very young.
Yeah.
And I followed him, you know, what he wanted.
Yeah.
I could care less about what other people wanted. You know, my life was for him. So I wasn't, you know, I lived my life. I still to this day love him. You know, I mean, he was the love of my life.
And you never remarried?
No. No one could match Elvis, I'm sorry. I mean, and I don't mean to put men in up to him. It's just, my life was so different with him, and.
But I think people understand that, to be quite honest. I know you dated, and you talk about it in the book, but to be honest with you, I can't imagine being someone coming to see Priscilla Presley knowing forever you are dating Elvis Presley's wife, or marrying or trying to marry.
That has come up before.
I mean, but that's,
I dated Nigel Lithgow.
You did?
Yeah.
Not,
For a while.
And Rob Kardashian.
And Rob Kardashian, yes. And both of them would say, you know, I'm not going to be Elvis Presley. Don't expect me to be Elvis Presley.
I would imagine
know
you look at them.
in love with Elvis Presley.
So when someone would say, I'm not going to be Elvis Presley, you said,
yeah, I don't expect you to.
Yeah.
I never wanted to put a man in that place.
I have to tell you, Priscilla, I was always fascinated by the fact that you accepted this responsibility of carrying on his name. And it seemed, maybe not at the cost of your own life, but certainly it was a big, important thing for you to do.
Yes, because I didn't want generations to not know who Elvis Presley was. I felt that, you know, that the children should know, and they're, you know, as they grow older, and I didn't want, I mean, He was a big part of my life, but I wanted to keep his name out there. I wanted to keep love for him out there. I wanted to make sure no one forgot about him.
Yeah.
So, and I still don't.
Well, you've done it in a way that people have looked at, and you've turned his life and his legacy into what it is, which is to this day one of the most protected and guarded estates in the world. And we'll talk about Priscilla's role in protecting the Elvis Presley legacy, but more than that, her role in helping others understand the grief and the resilience that comes after. More with Priscilla Presley after the break.
Coming up, Priscilla talks about her heartbreaking final moments with Lisa Marie.
But then we heard an emergency alarm from Lisa's room. It was a code blue.